What's up, everybody? Thursday night, niche night here on A2DRadio.com. Lazy booking coming at you here. I am Heel Chrome. I'm happy to be joined by my guest for part 3 of a wonderful interview series we've been doing, the manager of champions, Bill Alfonso. And before we get to the Fonzie, I want to make sure we give a shout out to all of our sponsors here. Our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. You can find the doc on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Make sure you hit up the doc, best in the business. Get all your specialized physical therapy needs taken care of. Also brought to you by Ambuck Services. You need gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck insulation, restoration, any kind of outside work, summertime, barbecues kicking out, holidays here. Get that house in order. Make sure it looks good for those guests you're going to have over. Check them out. It's ambuckservices.com. Let Michael Ambrose know that the fam here at A2D sent you there. You get 25 or 20% off. Also, shout out to our boys over at Philly Drinkers. You see, I got the Lazy Booking shirt on today. Lots of awesome A2D apparel, show shirts, studio shirts. You got all kinds of Philadelphia sports inspired things. We got swim shorts, tumblers, all kinds of good stuff over there. So you make sure you check them out at phillydrinkers.com. They got a lot of their own original designs over there. The Philadelphia QB factory shirt is up there. And if you use the promo code A2D, you get 25% off that shirt, not your whole purchase, just that shirt. But make sure that you check them out at phillydrinkers.com. Shout out to Alex, great guy. And obviously, we're going to get to our topic of conversation, and that is brought to you by QB54, best tailgating game in the business. Play QB54.com. Use the promo code A2D. That'll get you 20% off. Check them out. And our topic of conversation, we haven't really gotten to the topic specifically, but we're gonna talk about it with Bill this week, and that is that ECW positively changed the landscape of professional wrestling. That's an agree, disagree question. So we want you guys to chime in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not Instagram, Facebook. I forgot we're not on Instagram right now because of the pandemic, but we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're also, if you can't check us out live, don't forget you can check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast needs. So, Bill, welcome back to the show, brother. Week 3.
Oh, thanks, Daddy. Are you kidding me? I made it through 3 weeks? That's fantastic, man. Hey, I'm so happy to be on Lazy Bookings A2D, Daddy. I love you guys, man. You guys are so cool. Hey, everybody, patronize the sponsors because they've been good to us. And, they're local Philly people. They're right there in your area, man. So, all good, Daddy.
You got it, brother. Yeah, absolutely. You heard it from Fonzie here. Make sure you guys support our local small businesses, our sponsors here of the studio, and anybody else out there. It's very, very important, particularly in these times. So appreciate that. But Fonzie, man, we've had a heck of a run, man. We've been going through your 40-year career. In part 1, we went through your time in Florida and Texas when you got broken into the wrestling business. We talked about WCW, WWE. Part 2, clearly all ECW, very ECW heavy, where we talked about, your introduction into ECW with Paul Heyman, and then obviously your relationship with guys like Taz, Sabu, RVD, some other people there, as well as your infamous match with Beulah. Great stories, a lot of great feedback. So we're looking.
I beat her ass. Bitch.
That was it's a memory. That was a hell of a moment. I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a match. And to this day, it stands the test of time. We had so many questions, Fonzie, of people that just basically people saying, I need to hear Fonzie talk about that, and the feedback was great. So
that's basically the number one question I get when I do the conventions and different shows through the country. Somebody usually comes up to me and asks me about that. So it was in 97, so 20 years, 25, 30 years later almost.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know. It's crazy, right? And there's a lot of stuff. The whistle that you remember we talked about the whistle. But we left off there, and actually Andy Ritter just chimed in here. And Andy said, What's up, Bill and Chrome? Huge night. So actually, I'm glad that Andy chimed in because Andy asked a question last week, and I said that we would discuss it this week. So I want to make sure that we talk about the ECW one night stand in 2005. But real quick before we get there, Fonzie. So we left off around Beulah, and what I really want to talk to you about is kind of the end of ECW, and where things started to kind of take a turn. So, we've heard a lot of things. It was Paul and his paranoia. We've heard, sometimes Paul got in his own way when he talked about the network. Do you have your own opinion on why ECW didn't last in those last couple of years?
Yeah, I think it was just there was people who wanted us to make it successful, but man, we just didn't have the budget, man. Vince and Turner had all that money, and we had no corporate sponsors, no anything. But I knew Paul Heyman knew all along that when it resolved like it did in a peaceful way, that everybody was going to get picked up and move on. So, it was just that there wasn't enough money to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after ECW, Fonzie, you did have a brief run in TNA. Can you talk about that experience of going to TNA and working a little bit there?
Yeah, that was a quick little run, but it was cool. And Dixie Carter called me and said, "Hey, Fonzie, we got Van Dam and Sabu here. We'd love to have you be a part of our team." And I said, "Great." It's only 70 miles from my house, so it was pretty cool. I knew all the guys. I worked with most of the people there, so it was a natural fit for me. It was nice. Wasn't there long. Didn't make much money. A little TV time,
mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed it. I knew that was going to go quicker than ECW.
Yeah.
That was they were done before they started.
So with ECW, we posed that poll question that was what we call it, or the conversation piece. The legacy of ECW. Do you think that it positively affected the pro wrestling landscape?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because look, before ECW, if you go to any indie show in the country for the last 20 years, it's like an ECW type atmosphere. You always see a table or some hardcore stuff, and that wasn't around before us,
mm-hmm.
before ECW, not at all. So we damn sure made a positive, some type of impact, because it carries on in so many different ways. I mean, wrestling evolves anyway, but we were evolving in 1995 when we did the first pay-per-view. It was hardcore and barely legal and all this stuff. It was crazy, man. Yeah, we definitely put an impact in the wrestling industry. Changed us. Vince and those guys didn't do. Who loved ECW was Vince's kid, Shane McMahon. And I don't know really how much Vince loved us doing the tables and blood and sweat and hardcore and the broads and all that. He does the same thing, but a little little lighter. But now after ECW, look at all the stuff he does. Look at Cactus Jack, the big bump off the cage and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So ECW is everywhere. He's got his fingerprints in every match in the country from now on, I think. Maybe at least a fingerprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see something, damn,
Bill, do you remember when Steve Austin came in for what was a cup of coffee? But do you remember when Steve Austin came into ECW and that instant impact that he seemed to have that, for all intents and purposes, kind of lit the fire under the, Stone Cold kind of gimmick that we ended up getting down the road? Do you remember when he first joined ECW?
Well, I'm pretty sure. We were staying at a hotel right there by the arena. It was like looked like a beer can. And Steve came in. I had worked with him in Florida. I've worked with him several different places. And he came in just for a short minute. and then he went right to Vince, right?
Mm-hmm.
He left ECW, went right to Vince with the beer gimmick. Yeah, a lot of guys stopped through there, man. Pillman, man, there's so many guys. Yeah, Steve was great. Steve was great. I don't know the circumstances, how he got there, but I remember giving him my hotel room because the hotel was sold out. He says, Fonzie, they don't have a room for me. Just take my, I hadn't even checked it. I mean, I checked in and just had the key, but I just bunked with Sandman or something, whatever. It was cool. But, yeah, I love Coach. So Steve Austin's badass.
Yeah.
What a nice career he had, huh?
Wow. I mean, he, for everything that people say about Hogan, Austin might be just as popular, if not more popular at his peak, than Hogan.
I don't know about that.
No?
I don't know about that. But, if I'm at a party with my daughter, she's a millennium. She's 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hosting a party at her house. And all her friends are over. And I'm talking to some of them. And they say, oh, what do you do? I say, oh, sports entertainment business. Sports entertainment? I say, Hulk Hogan. I said, everybody knows what I do.
Right.
But if I say, oh, I'm in the sports entertainment business, what does that mean? Oh, Steve Austin. What?
You think?
You know what I mean? Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then nothing against Coach. So he's, but he's not that. But fucking Stone got the movies and the fucking shows and all that. So
yeah.
It's different, but I don't, you know what I mean? Hogan's Hogan, guys.
Oh, and that's true. Listen, he changed.
And I'm not putting Cold Stone down at all. Are you kidding me?
Of course.
He's fucking huge star. I love him. Badass.
Yeah. Maybe he's number two.
I may be dead wrong, but they're not neck and neck. It's not like Hogan's 99 and Cold Stone's 98. But they're pretty damn close.
Okay. Yeah. And listen,
we'd have to include everybody, Sting and Flair and everybody else.
There's a lot of guys in there. You're right. And especially, look at Flair. Look at Rick. He is, to this day, he's one of the most, he's such a pop culture icon with the young generation.
Yeah, but still, here's my point. Still, if I was at my daughter's party,
yep,
and somebody said, what do you do? And I say, sports entertainment. And I say Hulk Hogan, everybody understands.
Right.
If I say Ric Flair, what?
Yeah.
If I say this guy, Andre the Giant usually gets a good reaction. But
sure.
If I name Jake Roberts or say a bunch of guys, they don't get it.
I hear you.
They don't get it. Usually, you got to be wrestling people, or you guys know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I want to do
my reference, Hulk Hogan.
I'm gonna do like a little name game, right? I'm just gonna drop a name and just give me just like a quick reaction or opinion or how you feel about them. So Sandman.
Right.
Sandman.
Mm-hmm. He was over. Damn, that guy was over in ECW. When that song played, man, fuck, he was over.
Yeah,
he was over in ECW.
We were talking about, we're going to get into in a minute the one night stand and that entrance when he came back in 2005 for that event. I don't know that it's been a long time since I've seen a reaction from a crowd, and no disrespect to his work in the ring, but the guy had one of the most epic entrances in the history of professional wrestling. That's
all he had. He couldn't work. Fuck. He'll tell you himself.
He could have a hell of an entrance and take a beating.
He was okay. Yeah, he was okay. He didn't have to work. He had the entrance, man. And exit.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Raven's
freaking smart, loves the business. He's a survivor. He knows he loves the business. Intelligent. High IQ.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's been a great friend of mine since I've met him in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a really good friend of mine since the 80s. Love Raven. Stand-up guy with me. Some guys don't like him. I don't know who don't like him. I think everybody likes Raven, but I adore him.
Shane Douglas.
Now a little worker. Shane's okay.
Yeah.
I like Shane. He's an old style Ric Flair type wrestler, you know what I mean? Had a good break. He's been around. Not a big star like Ric Flair, but a damn big star. Hell of a worker. Good mind.
He was great for ECW.
Team player? Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
ECW and him? Yes. Are you kidding me? He was our legitimate guy. He's badass. Yes, we were fucking lucky to have him. Very lucky to have him. I run into him at a lot of conventions and stuff.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
One of the best big men in the business.
Yeah.
Dear friend of mine. Met him before he got into business, oddly enough. And he came up to me in West Palm Beach as a wrestling fan. So I was coming back from the ring. I never forget it. I tell the story all the time. And Raven, the same thing. I'm walking back from the ring. I'm refereeing a match or whatever. Coming back, and there's this big kid standing up by the rail. Says, "Hey, Fonzie, hey, Phil Alfonso." For some reason, I stopped. He wasn't as big. He didn't look like Bam Bam, but it was Bam Bam Bigelow. He said, "Hey, man, I really want to be a wrestler. And can you give me some guidelines? What should I do?" He said, "Hey, find a wrestling school. There's a few of them in town, but this was in the 80s. Not too many wrestling schools. And so that's basically, but I was real nice to him. Years later, wherever we're at, WCW or WWF, and he comes up to me and, "Hey, Bon," says, "Hey, Bam Bam, what's going on?" Bam Bam Bigelow. He said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Hell yeah, you're Bam Bam Bigelow. Everybody knows who you are, Bam Bam." He said, "No, do you remember me? 1982, West Palm Beach, the auditorium. I came up to you and asked you. You gave me some advice, and you were real nice to me." I said, "Really? Good thing I didn't spit on you, brother." You know what I mean? That was cool. That's happened before. Raven, the same thing. Asked me for a little advice. But yeah, I love Bam Bam. One of the best big men. Him, one man gang, good big men, you know.
Birthday guy just had his birthday a couple days ago. Terry Funk.
Yeah, my first professional match I got paid for, Lubbock, Texas. Him and the original Sheik, Sabu's uncle. So I go way back with him. That was 1978 Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a long time ago. He is an icon. I mean, there's been so much said about Terry Funk, and every well deserved. My goodness, he was a world champion, and man, what a guy, what a character.
Yeah, and I feel like
a stand-up guy, and a humble, good, basically a good guy, not an asshole. I've never seen him be a dick or an asshole or try to rob, and no larceny in his heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking texting, man. Great. Been to his house. Met his wife, Vicky. Love her. Man, beautiful.
Yeah.
Badass. Legendary. Now, hey, back to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I'm in my house, at my daughter's house, having a party with the millennials, and they say, "Hey, Fonzie, Tiffany's dad, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm sports entertainment." "What?" "Terry Funk." They don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
You're right. No, you're right about that.
Thank you. To us, Terry Funk, Steve Austin, Andre, all these guys are super legend, and the most of the people will get it, but larger percentage won't get when I say those names.
Right.
I got to say Hulk Hogan.
I got you.
Or else they don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's such a pop culture icon. I mean,
right.
You talk about the '80s with the crossover between MTV, the MTV generation, and that's kind of what created sports entertainment from it, being the sport that it was.
Right. And he's not so much relevant now, but still relevant to a certain degree.
Of course.
Bill.
So I want to ask you about
Michael. Yes, Michael. Yes, Daddy. What, brother?
I want to ask you about ECW. One night stand in 2005. WWE decides we're going to run a show, and that's probably as close to an original ECW show as we ever got in terms of a WWE presentation, or really anybody else. I remember that show very vividly when it happened. How it had that feel, and it really satisfied a lot of our craving for those fans who grew up around it and really missed it. Can you talk about that night reunited with the boys and kind of what that vibe was like in that building? Still got you, Bill? Might have lost Bill for a minute here. May have to give him a buzz back. Let's try it again. So apologize, guys. Live TV.
Okay, was that at the Manhattan Center?
Yeah, it was, yes. The one at the Manhattan
Okay.
Center. Yep. Can you talk?
There was a good vibe. There was a real good vibe about that because it was hosted by WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he sponsored everybody. He flew everybody in. He put everybody in the hotel. He had to put all on the bus. It was his show, his cameras, his thing. But we all were in the room, and it was us putting on the show, but we were putting on the show for Vince. He was our, sponsor, whatever you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
All him. I think he owned everything at that point.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It was a good vibe. It was good. That was like a last, because we never really got a good closeout. You know what I mean? Because some of the guys had left already. So we never had like a farewell, big one night stand freaking match. You know what I mean? Where we could say goodnight and that's the end of ECW.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we were doing it. So that was pretty cool. Everybody was real excited, including me. I got to do my little promo and stuff, and it was pretty cool. And Vince treated us all with nice respect and everything. It was good. It was a good night. It was a good thing for ECW fans too.
Yeah, and you know what? You're spot on with that too, Bill, because there were a lot of guys that left over the years, and if you're gonna have like a quote unquote kind of final send off of the true ECW as it was, I mean, just about everybody that was anybody, even Steve Austin and guys like that, Mick Foley were able to be a part of it. It was so huge. And it's an event to this day that gets talked about frequently as one of the best wrestling events that's been put on in the last 20 or 25 years.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. People love that show. It stands the test of time too. So are you honored, Bill? Or how do you feel when you still hear fans doing the EC dub chant, which happens at independent shows? It happens on live television at places like AEW and WWE and Impact Wrestling.
Well, you asked me what kind of impact the ECW had on professional wrestling. There's your answer right there.
Yeah.
We've been closed down for freaking 20 years or whatever. It's freaking crazy, brother. I go to these conventions and I've got a booth close to some pretty big stars, and everybody that stops and sees them stops and sees me too. Everybody, and talks about the love of ECW. They gotta stop and see Sting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They gotta stop and see Ric Flair, but they don't have to stop and see me. But they fucking do, and they talk the ECW up. Favorite memories. It's all guys about your age. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I used to go when I was 16, 17 years old. My God. Or, I watched it at 3 o'clock in the morning in Idaho or whatever. But it's been pretty damn cool. It's pretty flattering to be a part of that. I was lucky. I was in the right place at the right time and had, thank God I had enough talent to skip through that. You know what I mean? Or else I would have been gone, because we brought guys in that we thought would work, and they don't work. They're gone. We just can't keep somebody around because they're our friends. We don't hire friends. We hire friends that can work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd hire Bam Bam Bigelow. He's our friend, but he's a working motherfucker. We'd hire One Man Gang, but he can fucking work.
Yeah.
We can't hire Joe Blow because he's just a medium worker. He's okay, but we can't have okay.
Right. Question here from Frank Vespi. Frank asks, he wants to ask you about the ECW, the revival, or the reincarnation. What WWE says. Were you approached at any point about being a part of the shows, and what was your initial reaction of the ECW revival? Were you a part of it in the beginning?
No,
No,
very little.
Yeah,
I was only like the 2005 that one, the last stand, whatever the fuck that was. Very little. I didn't have. There was all contract players there. They had so many guys under contract. They bought WCW, WWF, so they had every freaking player available. And of course, I didn't have a contract with them then. One time I did. I got a little something out of it because, I worked for Vince, and Vince generally likes me, doesn't dislike me. hard worker and a good performer. But fuck, brother.
Tom
Warned
Arnone,
you.
Tom Arnone says, Bill, we're loving this 3-part series. So I told you, Bill, everybody's loving it. So, Bill, we had a few stories we didn't get to that we said we were going to backtrack on. So I want to cover a couple of those, right?
I jotted them down because I got 3,642 stories. And which one did you want to talk about?
Well, let's.
I got them all ready for my book. Because I'm going to be doing a book deal this year, maybe. Hey, I've been approached so many times to write a book.
You should.
They say, not me, I don't say this. The wrestling people, the wrestling connoisseurs, the wrestling smart marks, the wrestlers, promoters, they say I'm kind of unique. That what my background is, there's not too many of us out there that has covered as much as I did. So I'm like unique.
Yeah.
And they said, what a book you can write.
Oh,
as a ghostwriter, you tell the stories and all that. Yeah, I'm waiting for the right time. Sabu just wrote a book, and he's doing okay with it, but I want to write a book and it does well.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell already, Bill. You got tons of stories, and we're excited. I'd be excited to flip through it. I can tell you that. And I'll tell you what, you write that book, when that comes out, we're going to have you back on the show. We're going to be promoting it for you.
We're going to push that book on your show. I'm not going to push it. I want to talk about it. People
Absolutely.
want to read about it, good. But people want to read the stories. And not holding back. I'm not going to bury nobody, but got some unique stories.
Yeah. So you started mentioning there was a story about Barry Windham getting shot, and he was supposed to work an event. Can you tell us that story?
What? Barry Windham getting shot? Are you serious? All right. That's a good one, man. So it's in the 80s. Harley Race is world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley Race, what a world champion. Badass. You know what I mean? He's the legitimate. He was before Flair, all the fucking. He's a tough guy, world champion. And man, it was great. Anyway, he'd come into the different territories. He'd go into Bill Watts' territory for the week, work against, fucking their guy. Who's their big guy there in Louisiana? I can't think of his name. But there's a ton of them. So come into Louisiana and work a week. Go into Carolinas and work a week. Come into Florida and work with a big star like Dusty for the week or Barry Windham for the week. So it's Barry's turn. He's going to work against Harley Race maybe 3 times that week. Harley was here for 5 days, all the big shows. I think he worked with Dusty twice and Barry 3 times. So every Wednesday we ran Miami, but every Wednesday morning we would do 2 TVs. So that's 2 hours of TV plus an hour in between, the TVs to get it prepared, to switch to the second TV and all that. So it's a long process. It's a long day. Mm-hmm. And then right after TV, you jump in a car, unless you're Dusty and a few of the top guys, they would jump in a little twin engine plane to fly down, but the rest of us drove down. It was 240 miles after TV. So it's a long night. But anyway, we're driving to Miami, and at that time we were all making money. I mean, good money, Michael.
Yeah.
And everybody had gimmicks. Everybody had fucking cowboy boots and fuzz busters and fucking big telephones the size of a bread box and fucking guns and fucking gold, whatever the fuck money could buy gimmick, we'd buy it because we were making money.
Yeah.
People buy silly shit. We're on the road. We want the top line fuzz busters, the nice cars and shit. So we were driving down, and everybody, and we're driving down because it's a big night for Barry, but just another night, really, but a big night for Barry. The wrestling fans in Miami Beach Convention Center sold out 6,000, whatever it was, close to 5,000. Because the normal crowd in Miami Beach Convention Center was about 3,000. Imagine that every Wednesday, 3,000 people in Miami.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So on the way down to Miami, we're going through Alligator Alley. We all got guns. So we stop about halfway there because we want to get out and shoot the guns and shit. So Steve Kern and Barry Windham, Mike Rotundo, and we're all pulling out big fucking guns and start shooting and shit. Bam, bam, bam. And Steve Kern says, hey, I'm going to shoot that sign over there. I said, you can't hit, anybody can hit that. The sign, she said, no, I'm going to hit the pole on the sign. I said, okay. So he shot, boom, and it fucking hit the pole and it ricocheted and it hit Barry Windham in the leg.
Oh.
The bullet went in the leg. Now it penetrated and and it made a big hole and you could see the back of the bullet under in his leg. So as soon as that happened, the phone rings. It's Dusty. We got these big fucking cell phones that are like bread boxes. And if I can answer and hey, where you guys at? I'm already here. It's sold out, man. Barry, man, it was a good show tonight. Dusty, Barry just got shot. What? And we explained to him, shoot the sign, the ricochet, down the wind, we can see the bullet. Dusty says, well, dig that fucking bullet out, wrap it up, and get his ass to Miami Beach Convention Center in a hurry. So we weren't really running late, but, you know, Barry getting shot and all that, we thought we would miss the show. But anyway, we dug the bullet out, and Barry was a trooper. We fucking taped it up with, you know, gauze and the white tape. And he wrestled Harley Race that night, 60-minute Broadway, which is a 60-minute time limit match. It was crazy. Then he went to the hospital after the matches and got the shot of antibiotic, and they looked at it and gall whatever they had to do.
Wow.
But, you know, pretty cool story. It's not a great story, but it's a damn, you know, what if that would have hit one of us in the head or something? But, you know, accidents happen.
Well, still, I mean,
people,
even in the best case scenario, to get shot in the leg and dig that shit out and then get out there and start and still do your match.
Right.
That's impressive. Right. That's a tough guy right there.
Yeah. Badass.
Wow.
Badass.
So you had another story that you had mentioned regarding Roddy Piper. I don't know, it was an alligator or a crocodile. Can you talk about that one?
Yeah. It involves guns again.
That's okay.
You guys wouldn't remember this name, but you may because you guys are wrestling historians and wrestling buffs and all that. There was a family named the Dusick family, Wally Dusick, Frank Dusick, but like in the Carolinas in the 40s and 50s and 60s, he was a big-time wrestler. So anyway, one of his sons was wrestling in Florida Championship Wrestling. This was in the mid-'80s, and it was I was driving a car. Roddy Piper was sitting next to me. Kevin Sullivan was in the back, and Frank Dusick from the famous Dusick family. That's the name you wouldn't remember because I wouldn't say that name. Hey, if I'm at my daughter's party, millennials say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm in sports entertainment." You know, Frank Dusick. What the fuck? Who's the fuck Frank Dusick?
They really look at you like you're nuts then, Bill.
Right. If I said Hulk Hogan, oh, yeah. Oh, you did that? Oh, good for you. Okay. So we're driving to Miami again, and we're going through Alligator Alley. That's the only way you get to Miami. From Tampa, you got to go through the alley. And Roddy Piper, he's been a freaking Canadian. You know what I mean? He's up there in the cold weather. He's never seen an alligator in his life. And he was hot off the super station, Channel 17. He was working up there. We were, you know, exchanging talent and all that. We're still NWA and all that. So they would send Tommy Rich down or one of their big stars that just happened to be Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, who was great, big star, over like hell from that Channel 17. Whenever they send us one Channel 17, our house jumped 30%. It was a big star, like Tommy Rich or, for instance, we did Orlando. Say it was like a $12,000 house every Sunday. You brought Tommy Rich in for one Sunday where Channel 17, TBS, they picked it up because cable and all the cities didn't have it, but Orlando had it. And brother, we would sell out that building every time. So it was me, Kevin Sullivan, Frank Dusick, and Roddy Piper. And we were going down to Alligator Alley, and Piper kept seeing these alligators on the, because we were running parallel with a canal that's maybe about 40 yards wide, 30 yards wide. Not real wide, you know, like a house, you know. And Piper would see all these big alligators laying on the bank on the other side of the canal. And he kept saying, my God, he was amazed with the alligators. It didn't bother us because I've been born and raised with alligators. You've seen the pictures I showed you. I walked right by him. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna let them fuck up my day, but you know, to somebody that doesn't see a live alligator, they're, you know what I mean? Like you go see a tiger out in Africa, you can say, "Damn boy, that's the fucking tiger," you know. So after seeing about 20 or 30 minutes going through the glade, Piper says, "Man, I wish I had a gun." And everybody in the car says, "We got guns." So we pulled over. Piper grabs Frank Dusick's gun. He says, "Man, I want to shoot an alligator and take him home and make boots or whatever the hell I can do." He was so excited about shooting this alligator. But I said, he's never going to hit the alligator because he's like 30 or 40 yards on the other side of the canal. You know, he's got the 38 is like a police special, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like a laser type shot. So he takes aim at it, takes aim at the alligator, and he pulls the trigger, bam! Of all things, he hits the alligator right in the neck.
Oh, wow.
Boom, the alligator starts selling. He starts like hyperventilating or shaking or like having a spasm or something. Like, you know, shaking like he's dying.
Yeah.
And he rolls in the fucking canal on his back. So he's upside down. He's kind of floating right there. And Piper's so excited. We can't believe he shot him because the luckiest shot in the world. If he did it 40 more times, he couldn't shoot it again. So he says, "Fonzie, I'm going to go get that alligator." I said, "Okay." So he starts taking his clothes off. He strips down to his underwear. And Kevin Sullivan says, "Hey, hi, Rod, I'm going to go like 20 feet down, and I'm going to, because there's more alligators. There's live alligators all over the place." He says, "I'm going to go over here," this is Kevin Sullivan talking, "and distract the alligators and try to lure all the alligators towards me while you swim out in your underwear in the Everglades at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the alligator-infested freaking bayou, whatever the hell it is." And he says, "Okay." So Kevin Sullivan starts splashing, and sure enough, some of the alligators starts going towards the splash, chasing Kevin. And Piper starts walking in the water. He gets up to his knees. He's walking. He's getting up to his crotch, and now he's up to his tits in water. Get ready to start swimming. He starts swimming a little bit towards the dead alligator that's floating on his back down the canal. And he gets about within 30 feet of or 20 feet of him, and the alligator flips back over and came back to life and starts swimming towards, and it was a big one, you know, 6 or 7, 8 foot, whatever it was, bigger than Piper, and starts swimming at Piper in the slow motion thing. And Piper looked like a cartoon. You know what the cartoons when you see somebody skim across the water or something running?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Mighty Mouse or whoever. It was like that. It was the funniest fucking thing. So Piper makes it back to shore. And as soon as Piper makes it back to shore, he's getting dressed. And the damn state trooper, Florida Game Commission guy drives right up to us. And, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" "Oh, we're just showing Piper the alligators." You know what I mean? So we could have gotten in big trouble because you can't shoot an alligator without a license.
Yeah.
But that's my alligator story with Piper.
Oh.
He wanted that alligator so bad, we never got him. And he talked, every time you see me, you would say that alligator story years later. God bless him. We lost him too early.
Yeah, we did. A lot of people are reacting to that story, by the way. That went over really well.
The alligator story?
They think you guys are friggin' nuts with messing with alligators over there.
If you can post that, that's off of my phone, my iPhone, that alligator footage that I sent you.
Yeah.
You can somehow post that.
Oh, yeah. If I have your permission, I'll post that with the one when you're walking by it.
Either one. Either one, where the alligator stole my bass or me walking right by it and say, "Yeah, I'm not going to let him fuck up my day."
So I'll post it. So since Bill gave me permission, I'll post it a little bit later. He sent me 2 videos
100%.
earlier.
Anything I send you, you got the green light.
You got it.
I won't send it.
He sent me 2 videos earlier for those who are curious. Bill was fishing yesterday, and he caught a huge bass. And he turned around to get his materials to remove the hook from the bass's mouth, and turn around, and what'd you say, about a 7-foot alligator, Bill? 6, 7 feet?
At least. 200 or 300 pounds
Yeah.
at least. He was big.
Came over
And the
and
bass was huge.
Yeah.
The bass was 10 pounds big.
it was huge. And you took the video of the alligator walking away. It took the bass and stole it and was walking away with it in its mouth. And it is huge because you could see it from a distance. And then you sent me a follow-up.
He was pulling my fishing pole. He was pulling, you know what I mean, got my big bass. And, but you know what? That was so cool to see that. That was better than putting the fish back. That was better than catching the fish. Have an alligator, big ass alligator, come up, grab my bass, and start walking down the grass. He didn't go back in the water.
No.
He started taking a hike like he was going on a camping trip or something.
He did.
He was happy as hell. So that was a cool moment, you know.
Yeah.
That happens often, not every day, but I, always have alligator run-ins. You got to be careful.
I guess if you're in the area and you're used to, I've been golfing down there and I've gone by a couple on the courses, but I don't.
Yeah.
If my ball ends up in the water and I see a couple eyes poking up at the surface, I'm not chasing it.
Yeah, they are here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Millions of them. But that's a pretty cool story.
It's great.
People like stories like that because they see everything in the ring. They see, all kinds of stuff on TV.
Yeah.
But they don't know the little backstories. And if it's kind of a cool backstory, people really like it.
Yeah.
Like the alligator story or, Barry Windham getting shot or,
We know what's great about stories like that, Bill, especially when you talk about Piper and Kevin Sullivan, right? Like,
yes.
That's not a story I would have expected to hear, but am I surprised by it? And because people have now gotten to know who some of the personalities of these guys over the years, I can visualize it as if I'm there. I could see them. And you tell the story in such great detail, and then knowing them, I can see this happening in my head as you're giving me the details. It's amazing. We got Andy commenting, "Oh hell no, absolutely not." Talking about going in the water after the alligator. Damian Estrada says, "Crocodile Dundee." What the fuck? Ryan Brodo, our producer, saying that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. You had another story that you told me is a really good one. It was a near plane crash. Can you talk about that story?
Oh yeah, Kevin Sullivan's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, superstar Billy Graham.
Yes.
Big name, boy. Cowboy Ron Bass.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big time, cowboy Ron Bass. Bill Alfonso.
That's the biggest name right there. Absolutely.
Kinda. And Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
Yes.
And almost the merchandise girl. Thank God the merchandise girl that the pilot said no merchandise girl. Not because we didn't like her, because she was 99 pounds and we were already overweight.
Right.
Because Kevin Sullivan was 280. His legs were like tree trunks. Superstar Graham was huge. Ronnie Bass weighed 350. Humperdinck was in the 300s. I was $150 though. So we were loaded with weight. We all had bags with all our gear and shit. We stuffed it in this twin engine older plane, but a reliable, nice plane. Flown us down to Miami hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Reliable, right? You got to have those planes in check to fly them, you know what I mean, and lease them out.
Mm-hmm.
FAA, whatever the fuck it is. So we get to the airport, and the merchandise girl comes in with a big bag and says, "Oh, I want to jump on this. I'll go in the cubby hole back there and fly there." It's a 48-minute flight versus a 5-hour drive. You know what I mean? You're back at home at midnight versus 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a great thing. But so the pilot says, "Look, honey, we are so overweight now. We almost want Fonzie to get off." You know what I mean? Or Humperdinck will want somebody. It's just too overweight. And so she said, "Okay, I'll drive down." So she took whatever. So we're getting ready to take off. Now, guys, the most important part of a flight, the most dangerous, the most important part of a flight, any airline will tell you, any pilot will tell you, any military guy will tell you, is the takeoff. Because when you're taking off, if something happens, you're going right down. If your motors go out, when you're way up in the air, you glide, you can glide. Or if it goes off in the landing, you can glide. So the most important, dangerous part is the takeoff of the airplane.
Yeah.
Remember that. So we're all in the plane. We're getting ready to take off. I forgot the city arrangements, but I think Humperdinck was next to the pilot. I'm closing my eyes. Superstar Billy Graham was behind the pilot. Kevin Sullivan was behind Humperdinck, and I was behind those guys in a little like jump seat. We take off, nice as hell, boy. Now we're over downtown Tampa, still, taking off, still fucking climbing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, we're about over downtown, and one of the motors, the left motor, starts sputtering. Pop, 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 pop. And every time it sputtered, it only sputtered for like 3 or 4 seconds. The whole plane would turn sideways. Boom, and then the motor would come back on, and then the plane would straighten up and go. Did that about 4 times, and everybody was almost crying, praying. Oh my God! It was the scariest thing I've ever seen, or been involved in. I mean, our lives. This pilot it looked like a movie. The pilot was turning knobs and calling, he had his mic on, attention tower, we can do a bank, emergency landing. The moment, it was incredible. Superstar Billy Graham, Sir Oliver Humperdinck turned white as white paint, white. Superstar was praying, oh Lord, please let me go, please let me make it through this, please. He was begging for his life, begging. Kevin Sullivan wasn't saying too much, and I wasn't saying too much. I was just watching all this. They couldn't believe it. So somehow we made a big bank. We're high enough to make a bank, and the motor kept turning off and coming back on. And every time and turning the plane sideways, throw all the luggage everywhere. It was just like a freaking movie. Scared, screaming a little bit. The guy's crying. Actually, I think Superstar was actually crying,
Yeah.
And now we can see the runway. Now we see the runway. We're still high up. We're still coming in. The motor's still sputtering, and we're still going sideways. It goes back on, and we're making our trip. And we can see the fire trucks lined up, whatever, how many, 2, 3 fire trucks. As we're approaching, we're going to be a crash landing possibly, all the police, ambulance, and all that. So we're coming in to land, and we get about, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 feet up the landing strip.
Yeah.
Boom, the motor goes out, doesn't come back on. And we keep coming in, and we bounce so hard that we bounce up and down like 6 times and went all the way to the end of to the runway. It was freaking amazing that we made it.
That is insane.
So it was crazy, right? So we all get out of the plane. Every one of us, including the pilot, kissed the ground. I swear, we all kissed the ground. And me and Kevin said, I'm never going to get on that motherfucking plane again. I'll go Eastern Airlines. That's how long ago this was, Eastern Airlines. Remember them?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go jump on Eastern Airlines. It's $29 one way. Jesus.
That is crazy.
We were so happy to be alive. Everybody kissed the ground. So the next week, and we talked about it, how we got saved and how lucky we were, because if that would have happened somewhere, whatever, it could have been, oh my God. So the next week, Wednesday morning comes around, we're doing TV, we got to drive to Miami, the same one we almost had the plane crash, and the pilot calls, the arresting officer, hey, tell Fonzie, Humperdinck, and Kevin, and Superstar that I got the plane fixed. Oh, great. So we go jump on the same fucking plane and fly to Miami.
Next week.
True story. True story.
That
we were literally, Humperdinck turned white. Superstar was praying and crying, literally crying. Everybody had a different look or responding different to the emergency because we thought we were all going to die.
Oh, I can imagine. That is scary, Bill.
No, for real. Yeah, it was terrible. The worst fear I had about, dying.
Wow. And to think, you kind of mentioned, it's hard to imagine, and you kind of see how everybody else, deals with a situation like that. Yourself and Kevin Sullivan, you really don't say too much.
Yeah. But somebody in that situation, everybody, Kevin Sullivan and me got quiet. Humperdinck turned white. Yeah, he was quiet too. The other guy, Superstar Graham, he was praying and, couldn't shut up. He was talking for all of us, I guess.
So Ric Flair had a plane crash incident as well. Have you guys ever like exchanged stories in terms of that?
No, the plane crash didn't happen. My plane crash bounced on the fucking runway,
Right.
and we got out and kissed the ground, so it was no big deal. Where
Right.
the guy lost his life, and
Mm,
they said Flair broke his back, never wrestled again, and all that. So
yeah.
good compare that, but we have mentioned a little bit,
So Bill, you got a lot of big things coming up, brother. You got let me pull up here. I mean, you got like I know 3 big events coming up. So we have
I got a few. I try to stay busy. I love doing the podcast. I'm doing a lot. My next event is I'm going to Fort Lauderdale Wednesday on the 8th.
Yes.
This is coming up pretty quick.
So you're going to be doing a seminar, right?
Yeah, for CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. They've been good to me. I like it. It's a small little company, but they do good. And I'm doing a freaking live seminar for them Wednesday. So this keeps me busy. And I didn't think I could do a seminar.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was cool enough to stand in front of 27 young kids, referees, valets, managers, wrestlers, all young guys trying to make, and then some medium guys and some indie guys talking to them. And I find it easy now because I made myself nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know I was going to be well loved and well appreciated and well received. Oh, well received. Let's say that instead of well loved. Well received. I didn't know how well received I was going to be. So once I got well received from these 27 people, I feel comfortable, and then, you know what I mean? And then it just goes slow. And I talk about things that I know backstage.
Right.
Not stories. I'm talking about how to, get over in the ring and how to do promos and stuff. Because when I went from manager from referee and all those years, and it was a natural progression for me to go from any position in professional wrestling. I've been in it 20 years. I could run a show. I could do a pay-per-view. I could write stories for a week. I could do everything, referee, whatever. So when they put me as a manager, I've only done in my career, a couple of promos a year. Like I would say, oh yeah, they would have something where the world champion would come in, and I said, no, he threw him over the top rope, disqualification, keep the belt, so on and so on. Small 1-minute promos like that, but never like, Jimmy Hart, and, all these different managers, Gary Hart, tennis racket guy, and Jim Cornette, all these guys.
Yeah.
So when I know Jim Cornette, I like him.
Yeah.
So when I became manager and I started having to do these promos with Taz and shit, I was a little green, not in the wrestling business, but in that particular area.
Yeah.
So I was having trouble. Like they would say, okay, Fonzie, you and Taz, so you stand in front of Taz and say, next week in Philadelphia, you're going to feel the wrath of it. So I said, okay, and 5, 4, 3, next week in Philadelphia, you're going to feel, take cut, take 2.
One take
Next
Fonzie.
week in Philadelphia, cut, take 3. Next week in Philadelphia, cut, take 4. 4 or 5 takes.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer and Paul Heyman came up to me and says, Fonzie, it's a problem. I said, well, you guys are giving me too much to remember. I can't remember fucking this and that, ticket prices and fucking the color of all this shit. And he says, Fonzie, Tommy Dreamer says, treat it like a shoot.
Right.
You coming next week, treat it like it's real. Like you coming next week to Philadelphia, right? Yeah. You're going to fight Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah. You don't like the wrestling people here. Yeah. Just treat it like a shoot. Then I said, okay, let me try it again. Hey, next Saturday night at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, me and my man Taz are going to come kick Bam Bam Bigelow's ass. And I defy you people to show up. And if you do, you're going to feel the wrath of Bill Alfonso, Daddy. I was one take Fonzie after that.
Yeah.
So I adapted to being the manager and doing the doing the promos really good. I'd been around it 20 years already. Just had to express it, find out what worked for me. So I'm really good at promos and helping guys do promos. I did it with Paul Heyman. I did it with every company I worked for. Helped a little bit. And so I tend to, at the seminars, talk about things that I know because I'm talking to wrestlers and managers and people who want to do promos and need to learn how to do them. So I talk about that and character development and all that stuff because, look, I use Taz as an example. I think I mentioned this to you before. I'm good at character development because I've been around the business a long time. And generally, the guys I get over pretty good are kind of their own characters in real life. They just hype it up a little bit, like Taz was, wrestle with Tasmania, Monkey Boy, Taz Lone, or whatever. It was 8 gimmicks that never got over. Had the long, porky hair.
Yep.
And then when he became Taz, his own self, he got good.
That's all he needed.
He got good at the promos, and he was great. So I tell the guys so that's what I talk about. Using their natural abilities to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said you're surprised you're able to do that stuff. I think our audience would agree. Just kind of being fans of yours, throughout the years of your work, and then to have you speak so candidly and intimately with us over the last 3 weeks doesn't shock us whatsoever that you're able to do so. I actually think that you have a world of knowledge that you could pass along, and I'm happy to hear that you are doing that and loving doing it, which is awesome. It feels really good. I'm flattered when I get a phone call. Are you fucking kidding me? Hey, Fonzie, we have this company in Fort Lauderdale, CCW. Would you mind coming and help me get our giant over? We got a new guy called Brazilian Giant. We want you to work with him like you did Taz and them, and we'll pay you good. We'll fly you in. We'll use you every show, and we use you as long as we can. And we can do seminars and talk to our young guys. And I walk in the dressing room and I'm like a superstar. Fuck, it's pretty fucking cool, Michael. Oh, I believe it.
Pretty fucking cool.
So you got another.
I don't take it for granted. I take nothing for granted. I put everybody over from the first match to the referees to the last match. I treat everybody the same.
And it's clear. It is definitely clear how humble and appreciative you are in the business. And again, that's really refreshing because there's a lot of people who feel like they're entitled to a lot. And clearly you seem like a guy who has understood that you were fortunate, the opportunity you got, and you made the most of it. We talked about that in week 1, right? In our first part of the series where, a guy didn't have a spare tire, and that created your opportunity. You appreciated that and took the ball and ran with it.
If it wasn't for that no spare tire, I wouldn't be talking to you today. I'd almost guarantee it.
On the 25th, you're going to be in Nashville. You're working a show called Lucha Mania. It's going to have Super Crazy on it. You're going to be refereeing in there. You're going to be managing. What are you going to be doing?
No, I'm going to manage. The guy, did I send you the poster? Right?
You did. Yep.
The guy standing next to me, like the Vader mask.
Yep.
That's the Brazilian Giant. That's why I'm in CCW. That's why I'm doing the seminars. That's why I'm there, and I have a job for probably the next year till this kid gets over. I'm teaching him. He loves me. This kid fucking adores me and listens to everything I say. And he had his first match with me 2 Saturdays ago in Fort Lauderdale. We had a pretty cool show. Even though the virus is going on, it was well organized with the lady with the taking your temperature in. It was all sanctioned by the city. I don't know how that happened, but it was pretty damn cool. I wore a mask and gloves to the ring. Yeah. But I'm going to be managing him up there. I'm going to be managing him.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, if you're going to be in the Nashville area, check it out.
Yeah, that's if the show doesn't get canceled.
Right.
Who knows? That's on the 25th. Now, as far as I know, I'll find out more Wednesday when I go, but it's still on. I just talked to the guys and everybody's excited, and but I got a feeling they might shut down the show. But look, everything's starting soon. Baseball, all kind of shit. So let's see.
Yeah. One of our listeners, Pronger's best friend, also known as Prism 280, says, great show, great interview. Always a blast to hear Mr. Alfonso. I didn't want to interrupt today. He says, but I hope to see y'all do more. And hey, I mean, me and Bill were talking off the air. I don't think this will be the last time you'll hear Bill on A2D radio on Lazy Booking. We were talking about maybe making like a semi regular-ish appearance, maybe once or once a month or every other month.
Absolutely not. That this is going to be a look.
Yeah,
Michael, we formed a pretty good relationship.
Yes,
on air and off air too. You guys are pretty fucking cool, and we clicked. We do well together.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to get a little revenue added into that somehow. We get some sponsors or whatever. But
yeah,
it is what it is. Let's try to do our best.
Yep.
And, thanks for the offer, and I'm looking forward to making some guest appearances
Yeah.
on your show, on your great show, and working with all kind of different people, because I have a lot of connections, and I may be instrumental in helping you get some different talent that you're not having trouble getting, but you wouldn't even think of. You know what I mean? That has good stories, and you people would know them. And I don't want to bring in somebody like Wally Dusick,
yeah,
because you guys don't know him. It goes back to the Wally Dusick. So I would want to bring in some people you guys would be pleased and happy with. Oh, wow, what a great. And I usually can get a lot of good stuff out of them.
Yeah.
Between Michael and I think we could get some stuff out, because guys, once they get around me, they open up and they feel cool. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Absolutely.
Michael.
Absolutely.
For you
Bill.
listeners especially, that's who counts the most. We're entertainers.
Yeah.
I want to entertain people. I do not want to be on your radio show and somebody say, damn, Fonzie sucks. My God. If I even a little bit of suck, I don't want to come back on.
Well, we're definitely not getting that feedback. I can promise you that, Fonzie. But listen, I'm very appreciative of your time over the last 3 weeks. It has been a special time getting to know you, like you said, on the air and personally. Hopefully things don't shut down and I can come down and try to, I'll be down there, and around that time I actually get to Orlando the 25th, and I hopefully within that 8 or 10 days that I'm down there, I can shoot down to Tampa and we can do lunch and catch up. But
yeah, absolutely. Any activities going on, we'll go do something.
Yeah,
I doubt it that quick. You know what I mean? No sports, no. Because we got Tampa's loaded, brother.
Yeah,
Tampa's a freaking 5-star city. We got hockey. We got football. We got baseball. We got fucking a fucking 5-star basketball team right down the street in Orlando. We got nightlife. We got the beaches. Clearwater voted the best beach in the world one year.
Yep.
We got food up there. It's beautiful, beautiful women. The economy's good. Doesn't cost a lot to come hang out here.
Yeah.
So this is why I chose to stay here, and hopefully, it's not when you come down, we're definitely gonna hook up for sure.
Hey, I love Florida. I told you I'm down there a few times here. I've had 3 trips, Fonzie, this year canceled for Florida already, in the last 3 months. That's how often I come down there.
Brother, you can jump on a plane in Philly, be here in 2 hours.
That's right. You got it, brother.
You know what I mean? But Frontier's a relative.
Yeah.
Frontier's got all new planes, and they've got nonstops every fucking day, like 4 of them.
Yeah. So we'll catch up. I'll be in touch with you, Bill. And again, I want to thank you for, ourselves, for Tom Arnone, who runs A2D, the founder of A2D, and for everybody that's been here, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the last 3 weeks. I look forward to, talking to you again very soon. And, we'll work something out that we can get you back on in the future, brother.
Thanks, Dad. Doing a podcast. One of my neighbors, beautiful, is, hey, what are you doing? And all my neighbors don't know who I am or what I've done. They're like, I don't work, get a nice crib. But anyway, but if I did tell them, I'd say sports entertainment.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. I'm guaranteed that works every time. Use any other name and you won't get it. Barry Windham, Texas name, all big stars, but no. Andre works once in a while. Usually I do say this. Yeah. I say, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. I do use Andre too a lot. I do a double on them.
Well, I mean, everybody, and Andre's so iconic too. So, I mean, I would think most people would know who Andre is, and he did stuff outside of it, Princess Bride and different things. I mean, he's such a, a monster of a man and a legend that would make sense. But Bill,
Yeah.
again, man.
So you can't Steve Austin me, brother. And I love Steve Austin.
I know.
Me, my boy. Hi, neighbor.
See what a friendly guy. Just says
man,
hi to all his neighbors. I love it, brother.
Hey, little girl. She won't run away, will she? Hey, sweetheart. So yeah, man, I'm grateful to be on your show, brother, and let's keep it going somehow.
Yeah, Fonzie, we'll be in touch soon. I'll be messaging you next week or two. Hopefully, we'll figure out this pandemic's gonna curve or not down there, and we could try to get together in Tampa. All right, brother.
Brother, I can't wait, man.
Me either, man. Wait. It's been a pleasure. And Fonzie, we'll be in touch. We'll try to get something going in the future. And until then, man, stay safe. You and your family. Enjoy your time fishing, hitting them golf balls, whatever you're doing, brother. And again, it's been a pleasure for me, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, call me back in a couple of weeks just to touch base and see where we're at.
You got it, brother.
Sometime in August.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I want to go on air with you and tell them everybody's my birthday is August 11th, where they can send all my presents to.
Oh, okay. You're in. You got it.
Right. Me and Hulk Hogan, the same birthday, August 11th.
That's right.
Celebrated many times together.
Fonzie, thanks again, brother. And listen, have a good rest of your week, all right? And enjoy your night.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Red, for being a great executive producer of the show. And to all the listeners, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Fonzie. Take care, buddy.
Fonzie signing out.
That was a lot of fun, guys. So I hope you enjoyed part 3 of our interview series with Bill Alfonso. And again, no official status yet, but I guess that's some sort of a breaking news for Lazy Booking, is that we, going forward, periodically may have some drop-ins from Fonzie. So awesome guy. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. And I know, I think Damien in here dropped a question earlier about, what he thought about the rebrand of ECW. And I didn't brush over your comment, buddy. I guess you had just tuned in. We had just talked about it 3 or 4 minutes before you dropped that comment. So, if there's anything that you guys missed from this interview series, and if you want to bring Andy and Matty in at this point, you can bring them in if anyone want to contribute to what we've heard. But if there's anything that you guys,
boys?
What's up?
What's up?
If there's anything you guys missed from the interview series, again, I just want to kind of recap. Part 1, Bill, 40 years in the business, guys. Part 1 was awesome. He talked about his early days in Texas and in Florida, as well as his introduction into WCW, and we rounded out with his exit from WWE, WWF. Part 2, heavy ECW. You heard his relationship with Taz, Sabu, RVD, Paul Heyman. We talked about the story about the barbed wire match between Terry Funk and Sabu. We heard some great details from that. We talked about the infamous story with Beulah McGillicuddy, which he was very honest, in terms of, some of the rumors we've heard as to why that happened. Was it something he was saving his job because, Paul was a little bit paranoid at the time? We talked all about that. He gave us a great backstory after the fact with that. And then obviously today we were able to kind of wrap up ECW. He told us some really fun stories regarding Roddy Piper and a freaking alligator. What the hell, man? I mean, I don't know if I know Andy caught that story. I don't know if Matty did, but I had a feeling it was going there. Wasn't sure, but I felt like it was going there. But, we had that story, Barry Windham's story, a near plane crash incident, and just kind of what Fonzie's doing now. He's a great guy, become friends at this point, and I look forward to having him on again. And I'm really, really grateful for the time that he took with us, and he took a great liking to A2D and to, our show. So thank you again to Bill. Angelica is his niece who works with him, who set everything up from the start. It's very, very easy to work with them. But gentlemen, this was the part of the show where we almost do a crossover transition. So, for Lazy Booking, it's our normal night. However, we are doing a crossover due to the holiday. In this very ring will not take place on Saturday. So we agreed since I've only really been taking 1 hour and 15-minute time slots as of late, that why don't we do a crossover? Matty, first of all, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while since we've been on the air together.
Yeah, it has been, but it's okay. I mean, getting that Fonzie interview, man, it's huge.
Yeah, and listen, you've been having fun over there with them on in this very ring, so everybody's been getting their Matty taste. And obviously, Andy, by the way, bro.
Yeah.
I got no promos to cut on you, no hate to put on you because you got a great shirt on today, buddy.
Hey, man, I figured it was Thursday night. Gotta rep the shirt, my man.
Bro, it's a great choice of attire, which, by the way, where can you get that at? PhillyDrinkers.com. Alex, great group to work with. You can get your Lazy Booking shirt in this very ring shirt, Hockey Happy Hour shirt, which, by the way, comes in at 10 o'clock tonight. You can get your AM and the PM, The Fix, Agree to Disagree, Sports Hounds, Kicking It Stateside. I'm trying to think of all the shows. Weekly Roundup. Did I miss anything? Oh, Birds of a Feather, dumbass. Wow.
How do you forget your own show?
We now know where Chrome's true love is. It's with Lazy Booking, not with Birds of a Feather.
Oh, absolutely.
All together. Well, I have the Lazy Booking 2 shirts in front of me, one my own and that one. So, well, what do you guys got on tap for part 2 of this show in this very ring?
So part 2 tonight, we're going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about AEW, and there's a lot of news happening. For matter of fact, I was actually just looking at my iPad here. Apparently, Jake Hager just got suspended by AEW following his actions last night.
Oh, it's like a storyline thing.
Yeah, apparently he's gone for 10 days and fined an undisclosed amount of money.
Storyline, it's nothing.
I thought you were going to say he got suspended for something else that's been rumored around there. That would have been breaking news.
Yeah.
I know Andy likes to avoid the biggest story in professional wrestling, which is okay, buddy. Do you?
I ignore it for right now.
To be fair, though, we're still tallying up how many we're going to get because it just keeps, more just keep coming out every day.
Here's the thing, right? We can dance around it tonight, and we'll get into it at some point. Here's the thing, right? At some point, it's going to have to be talked about.
Absolutely.
Because this is the equivalent to the Me Too movement in Hollywood, right? Mm-hmm. And we thought, how many names are going to come out and how many are going to come out? And we're years later, and there's still stuff that comes out. We're never going to get to the point, guys, where we're going to get the end of the list with this. Let's be real. I mean, guys have proven time and again, and I know you probably didn't want to dive into this. I don't want to get too deep into it, but guys have proven, and it's common sense, right? Like, I learned very young, probably around 2011 or 2010, to watch what you put on social media. And the reason what I put on there wasn't even that bad. My work at the time brought us in during a snowstorm when nobody else was open, only to send us home a half an hour after we opened the doors. And I bitched online that they put our safety at risk because there was no need for anybody to even show up. And I got told about that. And from that day on, I learned, don't ever put anything on social media. Be careful what you put out there. Text messaging, everything can be traced back to you. Nothing goes under the radar anymore, guys. You got people who specifically their job is to go back and look into your past, whether it's 8 years, 7 years. We've seen Kevin Hart have tweets that came back on him from, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever it was. And yet these guys don't learn their lesson.
Well, they think they're untouchable.
There's repeat offenders.
Yes.
That too. That just goes to the fact they think they're untouchable. They don't think anyone's going to do it. Next thing you know, somebody does it. Then it all, like the dominoes, they all fall down right after that.
Listen, I'm not gonna move away from it. We had somebody on this show 2 or 3 weeks before who honestly was the original name that dropped that started this.
Yep.
Let's be real. Let's not act like that didn't happen. And, innocent until proven guilty. There's a lot that's been put out there. You can't take away text messages, tweets, and videos that you send.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't dance around certain stuff. You know what I mean? And eventually, I think we should have a conversation about it because it is important. It is, it's a topic that needs to be talked. It's an issue in this country that has crossed over to professional wrestling. A lot of people feel like they don't want to follow it anymore because it's not the same thing to them anymore, and a lot of it is because of the stuff we're saying. So, but anyway, so aside from Jake Hager and his suspension, I imagine you guys are going to talk about Great American Bash Night 1 and Fighter. I don't know if you're going to talk about Fighter Fest, but I'll tell you this, boys, because I'm not going to be on with you guys for the second part. 2 weeks in a row now, NXT has beaten out AEW, and I'm not highlighting that to be a jerk, but I will say this because I've actually enjoyed a lot more of AEW as of late. There's still major qualms that I have with certain things, but I can honestly say last night specifically, I thought that the Great American Bash Night 1 was hands down a better show than AEW. I felt that AEW, for what I expect and they tagged this, Cody said this on Busted Open Radio, a free pay-per-view on TV. It's almost like their version of the Clash of the Champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt that was a very middle-of-the-road version of Dynamite. There was nothing that blew me away in that event. But I felt like Great American Bash, I'm not saying it blew me away, but I thought the quality of the event was much better. And I think that week one, the last 2 weeks, when you look at the triple threat match we got last week with Keith Lee, Finn Balor, and who am I missing? Gargano. Then you look at what we saw this week. I thought the women's match that opened NXT was really, really good. And I just thought it kind of went well. I liked the strap match between Roddy and Loomis. I just thought it was a better show. It was a great match between Bailey and Io, even though it had the schmaz finish.
I mean, Sasha and Io.
I enjoyed that match a lot. So anyway, good stuff with that. And I want to just say thank you to Ryan for producing the first half of the show for me. Great job. Thank you again to Mr. Alfonso, the Fonzie, Bill, the manager of Champions, for joining us again. And I want to thank you guys who have taken the time over the last few weeks to stick with us and engage with us during our time with Bill. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll have some more interviews coming up in the near future. And that's it. I'm going to pass it over.
It happened all last week on our show. Something's coming. I don't even know what it is, but there's something coming, or somebody is really bored.
I'm going to go with the latter. Maybe it's the hacker.
Well, we kept making that joke. It's the hacker.
Or Sammy Callahan jumping in here with his what is it, ICU, whatever he calls it. Weird.
I thought Bray Wyatt was going to show up at one point.
Last week's this one was more ominous and creepy. Last week's reminded us too much of what was it, CTV or GTV back in the early Raw days.
Yeah. Anyway, again, thank you guys, and I'm going to pass it over to these guys. For everybody out there, have a safe and happy 4th of July, and this is officially the end of Lazy Booking. Enjoy in this very ring, thanks to the sponsors too.
Thank you, Chrome.
Peace, Chrome.
What is going on, everybody? As Chrome said, It is in this very ring on a special Thursday night edition. I am the Commissioner Ritz. Right over here. That way. Damn it. I'll get it right one day. It's always reverse, stupid. Right over here, we have the GOAT, the legendary, the one and only Matty Sinsuti. Man who
What's
needs
up?
no introduction, but apparently I'm giving him one. Guys, as always, we're brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy. Check them out, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also, Ambuck Services. They are your gutter cleaning and deck restoration. Go figure. Experts of South Jersey, 856-879-5530. No poll question tonight on this second half of In This Very Ring. Matty, we're going to dive right into it. Let's go way back to Monday night. It's weird being on a Thursday and talking about Monday. Monday night, Raw opens up with a double contract signing. Samoa Joe's in the ring. He brings out Sasha Banks and Bayley, as well as Asuka. Well, I'm sorry. It starts out. Let me take that back. Asuka and Bayley brawling with Sasha, Bayley, and brawling with Asuka. I'll get that right eventually.
The Boston Hug Express. Or connection.
The what?
The Boston Hug Connection.
Yeah, the Boston Hug Connection. I forgot about that name. Good throwback.
Unfortunately, I can't forget that shitty name.
Oh, we're gonna buy you the jacket.
Oh god.
We'll get you the old school rock and sock connection jacket, but just fix it a little bit.
No.
It comes with free hugs.
Listen, Sasha may be my number one, but no, that's a part of her career I would like to forget.
But you need to buy it and wear it every time you're back in studio with Chrome.
You know what I'll do? I will actually have it where Pronger is. So that way it's constantly visible for everybody to see.
That would be fantastic.
And listen, if you guys do it, I'm just going to go all the way with it. We're going to put it right up there.
I heard Brodo was buying it, so I'm in.
If he's doing it, it's going up there.
So Joe welcomes us to the show and says the idea was for a contract signing. But as he's talking, the women come back out to the ring and they start brawling again. So Joe introduces Dolph Ziggler and then Drew McIntyre. Asuka and McIntyre sit on one side. So champions on one side, challengers on the other. All of this is ultimately going to culminate to the main event, champions versus challengers. Asuka will team with Drew McIntyre to go up against Sasha Banks and Dolph Ziggler. Solid segment. You got to see both sides. It was really weird doing a double contract signing, but I didn't hate it. It was something we knew it was going to break down. It kind of broke down before it even started. And it really wasn't. The men don't get involved till the end, right? Because Dolph goes a super kick. Drew, he catches it, looks for the Claymore. Ziggler rolls out. It leaves Asuka and Drew standing tall.
Yeah, I mean, this it's one of those situational things where instead of doing two contract signings in one night, you decide, okay, we're just going to have both of them happen at the same time, and then you do the main match of champions versus challengers, standard stuff, usual. It's been done plenty of times. Is it done all that often? Not as much. Sometimes you will see men teaming with the men, women teaming with the women, in the champions facing the challengers and a second-tier rivalry. But every once in a while they do it where they have the intergender matchups. It happened with Sasha was Raw champ and Roman was he WWE champ or was he Intercontinental champ at that time? He had one of the belts. And they teamed up against their challengers, and I think it was leading up to Hell in a Cell. I think it was. But
a better Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
So somehow we get to a point where Flair shows up on Raw. This is because Big Show's out pacing at ringside. He's still pissed from last week. Wants his hands on Randy Orton. Andrade, Garza, and Vega come out. Zelina obviously attacks Big Show verbally and everything like that, and which brings out Ric Flair for some reason. Right. Flair instructs Zelina Vega to send her men in to have fun at Big Show's expense. However, before these men can get to the ring, who attacks but the Viking Raiders? Because what are we going to do on Monday Night Raw? Everybody's going to attack everybody. Because that's what we do here at WWE. Go fight.
Everybody
Go fight without
screams and
purpose.
yells. Yeah, everybody screams and yells and beats up each other. That's all we do here. There's
That's
no.
it.
Yeah, of course that's.
Screams, yells, and beats up each other. Is this wrestling or a hockey game?
Both.
Fair.
Yeah, but
Closest you're ever going to get to me talking hockey, too.
yeah. I mean, they both have one thing in common. They won't have people in the seats. So with that,
Well, so it's a Ducks game. Got it.
them or the Florida Panthers. But with
Who?
yeah, that pretty much answered my question right there. But Chrome saying, I love the opening of Raw. Anything different is a plus.
He's absolutely right.
Anything that's a subtle difference, like, I mean, it's not a major, oh crap, this is really different in the sense of like, wow, I've never seen them do this before, but it's one of those like, it's a subtle change to a prototypical situation. And Prism, or Pronger's best friend, was right. It's a wrestling trope at this point. Contract
really
signings
is.
going sideways.
It's like you're more hyped when a contract signing goes off smoothly than you are when a contract signing just breaks down into utter chaos. I mean, Jesus God. But no, better than just a regular promo. We started out with a fight.
Yes, always very good for that.
Nothing. I mean, Akira Tozawa wins back the title. What the hell?
The 24/7 title.
Yeah, but he was the champion. Wait a minute. What? You guys, Chrome says you guys see Joe's comments about commentating. Sounds like it's a permanent transition. He says it just feels right. Yeah, no, I did see that. It sucks because Joe, I think, still had a lot left in the tank, but he is very funny on the microphone, on the commentary.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, he kind of became the new Taz. Goes to the WWE with a lot of fanfare and eventually becomes a commentator. Doesn't mean that he wasn't great. He just, is what it is.
Mike chiming in, did I miss Alfonso? Yes, sir. Chrome did the interview with Bill Alfonso in the first hour, and Matty and I are here for a special episode of In This Very Ring for the second hour. When it drops on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Speaker, or any of your other wonderful podcasting services, feel free to check it out there. But for now, strap in, grab a drink, strap in, and enjoy In This Very Ring.
I was going to say something, but I'm going to hold on.
No. Come on.
I was going to say strap on or strap in. But anyway.
Ooh. Well, that escalated quickly.
It seemed like you were confused. You didn't know which one you wanted to say, so I was just
I know. Well,
trying
no,
to see.
I thought about it. Like I said strap in, grab a drink. Well, that's kind of like backwards. You should grab a drink, then strap in. I mean, I've got my wonderful milkshake from Whataburger, and I'm seated.
Okay.
But I couldn't be seated and still have my milkshake. Like that.
Well,
Logic.
maybe you have the same powers that the Viking Raiders have, where you can just, use the Force, and instead of pulling turkey legs, you pull in milkshakes.
I don't know. First of all, that would be fantastic. Second, for multiple reasons, and we're not even going to get into that. I'll let your mind do whatever it does. But I don't know if that's necessarily a power the Viking Raiders have, or if that's just a power all fluffy men have.
Actually, that's a very good point. I don't know. Scientists are going to have to
Notice
research
how
that.
he was the fluffiest
That is
of
true.
them. And
It's true.
Mike wants to know, can Cody yet for him wearing a Great American Bash themed shirt. I'll allow it.
Sure, if you want to.
More power to you, brother.
Yeah. I mean, July 4th is right around the corner. Freedom of
July
speech.
4th
Go
in,
right
like,
ahead.
2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on a Saturday. That's so fantastic. I do love that fact. What do you think of Peyton Royce's new finisher? Did you see that in her match with Ruby Riott?
Actually, you know what? That was the part of Raw I went to the bathroom.
Are you joking?
I unfortunately had to go to the bathroom, so I thought, okay, whatever. I didn't really care.
Wow. And for those of you wondering what Mike was talking about, we'll go to the Richatron 4000. Mhm. There is the shirt, the American Nightmare Cody.
I mean, to be fair, it's him taking a shot at WWE like usual, which has been prototypical of Cody since he
Yeah, but
started
hey,
AEW.
we're not going to take any shots at the company, right? We're not going to make fun of WWE. Sure.
Yeah, no,
And
not at all.
I'm not going to make fun of lazy booking later. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but her finish. So to kind of get back on track, and then we'll rip into Cody some more. Because I plan on ripping on a lot of it. But that finisher was fantastic. She does like a suplex corkscrew thing. Oh, you have to go back and watch it.
Okay.
Absolutely have to. Oh, that's an interesting photo. I apparently must have scrolled down and it landed on Scarlett on a beach. And I just, yeah. Where the hell was I?
You saw titties, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, what
Wouldn't
was I
you?
doing? What up?
Wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously you're going to be
Just shut up.
distracted, but you need to have something written down to keep you at least a little bit on track if it's going to be that bad.
Well, I'm on an iPad, okay?
Pen and paper.
What? What's pen and paper? How old do you think I am?
But we're old enough to remember when we had notebooks and pens in school. I mean,
I've
come on
tried
now.
since then, dude.
Oh, Jesus. Apparently a lot.
Anywho, so there's still some dissension within Zelina's ranks. You know, Big Show has a 2-on-1 handicap match with Andrade and Angel Garza. The match that was supposed to happen earlier. It ends up with Garza walks away, leaving Andrade in the ring to eat a chokeslam.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you figured at some point somebody was going to get chokeslammed. Usually, like that's usually how it works with Big Show. It's another one of those segments with him and big guy, small guy, sort of segments. Zelina has her army, but it's just still that's what they do. They show Big Show off by him taking on multiple people and beating them up.
And apparently Pronger's best friend says, well, every other fan base is of every championship winning team. I was happy to see my bestie win the cup.
Oh,
because
7.
let's be real. Prism and Pronger, they are the real team best friend.
They are. Yeah, that's the true team best friends here.
Yep. Mike says NXT brought it last night. Absolutely. We're just about to dive into NXT, but it's 2020. It's June 2020, and MVP is beating the U.S. champion. Damn it! You know what? I really wish we had a clip of Butters just whacking himself with the keyboard. Like that should be the new like. Damn it! Just hit a button.
Well, I think Mr. Roto is on the back end right now, so just make sure he puts a little mental thumbtack into that and make sure that he is.
I guarantee you, the way I said it, he's already working on it.
But he'll have your face superimposed on the keyboard, probably.
Stop giving him ideas.
It's your fault for bringing it up.
I didn't think you'd be that dumb. Oh, God, Maddie, you hurt my soul.
Oh, well, I
so-
am a ginger.
Good point. So, the main event withstanding on Monday Night Raw, nothing super special came out of it. Obviously, you're setting up for Extreme Rules in just a few weeks because they're going to do the Extreme Rules horror show. Woo.
They should have just called it a Monster Mash match. Seriously, they should have just done that. Like, I would have respected you more.
What was the Impact match? Was it a Monsters Ball match?
That was back when they were pushing Abyss real hard, and they figured, you know what? Bound for Glory, big pay-per-view, it's going to be a Monsters Ball match, which is really just a hardcore match. Anything goes. And Jeff Hardy's the one who made it famous because he literally jumped off the top of the set and did a swanton onto Abyss. But anyway.
Wait, Jeff Hardy jumped off of the set. Get out.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's interesting.
Crazy, right? You would have thought that would have been unheard of. Didn't even win, too. What a shock. Jeff Hardy jumps off of something high and doesn't win the match.
All right, so out with that bullshit. In with NXT, the Great American Bash 2020.
Yes.
Right. We start off the show with Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. This match was announced that it would be an elimination style match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, our very first elimination, drum roll please, is not on here. Go fucking figure. This is wow. Well, so I'm using Ringside News for the results this week because Up Rocks, I guess there was an issue or something. They haven't done anything for 2 weeks on their website.
Gotcha.
They were usually the best recaps I could find that wasn't Bleacher Report or something like that, and they were funny too.
I will make a suggestion. There's a website called Cage Match. They have a bunch of results. They usually go into at least the order of eliminations, usually in like elimination matches.
Okay. I will have to keep that in mind.
But I do have the eliminations here.
Oh,
if
excellent.
You want me to read them off? So the first one eliminated Mia Yim, eliminated Candice LeRae.
That explains why there's a street fight for next week. Everything becomes more clear.
Crystal.
And so then who eliminates Mia Yim?
Mia Yim winds up getting eliminated next by Dakota Kai.
Okay, so Dakota Kai then eliminates Tegan. Gets eliminated by Tegan Nox. So we have the standard domino effect.
Pretty much.
Right? Candice LeRae doesn't gain anything in this match. She does help put over. It is a solid match. I caught bits and pieces of it. Very solid match. I am so excited to see that Tegan Nox actually ends up winning.
Yeah.
Because it's just she's deserved it. She's earned it. She's worked hard for it. You go back and you watch all the struggles that she had with both legs in the Mae Young Classics. It pulls at your heartstrings. Definitely does.
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way. If she was strictly in the UK, which would have been possible, she would be UK Women's Champ already. But since she's on NXT, they're building up, obviously, towards her. She'll probably wind up beating Io. I mean, they're pushing her.
I don't think it's early.
Not early. I'm not saying, like, right now, but okay. I think they let Io have her run. But I think she's the one to eventually dethrone her because they're pushing her hard. Her and Shotzi are getting a ton of time as a tag team, winning matches. They won it in your house. And then they had that shot against Sasha and Bayley. That she's getting pushed big time.
Yeah, most definitely. The Timothy Thatcher Oni Lorcan match, I don't know enough about it. I haven't caught any of it because this was. Let me be very clear. Us doing this show tonight was literally put together not even 24 hours ago.
I literally got a message from Brodo saying, I'm sending you a bunch of messages on Facebook So for once in one of the few times in history, I went on Facebook to listen to the messages, and they wouldn't play. So I had to I had to ask Brodo to type it out.
It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock my time. And Brodo goes, "Hey, I have a weird idea. I think you guys should come on after the interview tomorrow." And I'm sitting in my head going, "Shit!
Like
I barely watched any of it. Damn it!"
I picked a bad
all
week.
throughout today, I'm sitting there going, "All right, and play. Keep working. Ooh, keep working.
Oh my god! Hey, look, it's Ralph.
Hey, it is 1/3 of the fix. It is Ralph Delavecchio, our normal producer. So we send out a big thanks to Ralph, even though his Lakers suck. But hey, Ralph's here.
Hey, Ralph. How's it going, bud?
Ralphie.
By the way, we totally know it was your fault why we were getting interrupted on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's really Ralph's fault.
Yeah, really.
I feel like there's another force at work here that just won't admit to it.
Maybe.
God damn it!
That never gets old. That clip never gets old.
Oh God, it's so good. It really is. Rhea Ripley goes 1-on-2, 1-on-1 with Aaliyah and Robert Stone. If Rhea Ripley loses, she has to join the Robert Stone brand.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything more interestingly weird than I have this match, because like Robert Stone doesn't do a whole lot. Ralph says he can't wait for Sunday.
July 5th. Okay.
I'll explain later.
Oh, okay.
Just know that there's a very good chance that next Wednesday on the Fix, there's going to be a new Ralph Fool story.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So like Stone is there for comedic relief. So this is really Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah, and let me get an Adam Cole baby.
Baby!
Adam Cole baby! That hurt. All of that hurt. Oh. Like I pulled something. Damn it! I shouldn't be doing this much physical exercise.
As far as that would be considered exercise.
As much exercise as I'm gonna do. Did you miss the part where I said milkshake?
No. I didn't miss that part. I was just trying to, jump onto that. Make sure that some comments were said.
Ah, got it.
Got to keep the people watching.
Wait.
You can do whatever you want to those Red Wings, man. They've already been fucked by the NHL at this point. They are used. Mileage.
Shit. So we come back from commercial break, and Stone and Aaliyah have Ripley in a double submission. This would actually set off a foreshadow to how the match ends, with Rhea having both of them in the cloverleaf submission. Ralph says that might be the first time Andy got his arms that high. Let's back up for a second there, Skippy Longstockings. I at least left my house today. I at least got up and got out of my room for something other than food. So tread lightly there, my young Padawan.
Wait a minute. You took him in as a Padawan? When the hell did this happen?
Things have transpired.
Apparently. So you apparently own a temple of what, Ritter? Instead of the temple of Jedi? It's just the temple
there is the Ritz Temple.
The Ritz Temple? Okay.
Yes.
So if you want to join the congregation of the Ritz Temple, feel free to make out your application to wherever Andy lives.
Hey, just remember, Like, just remember, JWAJ. Okay, JWAJ. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
So Dexter Loomis versus Roderick Strong, in a strap match, NXT's first ever strap match. Okay, apparently Roderick Strong, for some reason, I still don't understand it, but Roderick Strong is terrified of Dexter Loomis.
Oh yeah, and they showed that. Oh god, NXT where he's in therapy and all the Undisputed Era's trying to like help him, and then he's in a trunk and they're trying to make him not scared of the trunk and he runs away. Like
I don't understand. You are Roderick Strong. Okay, you are a member of the Undisputed Era. Chrome says, not sure if you guys saw, but WWE has officially acquired Evolve and its library. I think he meant library.
probably.
But yeah, no, I did not see that. But that is very huge. Bringing Evolve in and their entire library. We're going to get to see so many of the rising stars of WWE, the current stars, and how they got to where they are, and some huge matches between these different people. I actually think there's a who is it? Oh my god. Is it Gulak and Riddle? I think were a tag team in Evolve. So hopefully we can start seeing some of that too, because that would be great.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of stars that went through Evolve. Austin Theory. There was Shane. Shane Strickland wasn't on WWE, but he was another great wrestler that went through those doors. They were interested in Babatunde. He was there. So there's a lot of talent that just from the show I went to alone that they wound up taking a look at and getting.
Yeah. So, but Loomis and Roderick Strong, back to my little bitch fit about that.
Sure.
I don't understand it, man. Like, why are you scared of this man? What did he do to you?
He put him in a trunk. Trunks are scary, man. Nobody wants to get put in a trunk.
No, shut up. There's literally in every vehicle that has a trunk. I would know. I sell cars. There's a little lever. You pull the damn thing, it goes boop, and you get out.
Yeah, but when it's pitch black, you can't see it. You can't see anything.
Just start feeling on the door. You're gonna feel something that moves, and then the light will shine, and you will be set free. Oh, my brother, testify.
I'm just saying, it's understandable the terror that he feels.
No, they're stupid. Fear bullshit. God. Ultimately, Dexter Loomis wins via submission, which is now he used to use the kata gatame, sure, but it will be now referred to as silence. Things in this world I can't make up. He's calling his finishing move silence.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, when you throw somebody in a trunk, they're silenced. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to keep doing that now.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna call Dexter Loomis the trunk guy. That's it.
Sure.
He'll just be referred to as the trunk guy.
The man who throws junk in the trunk.
Greg Milakovic, guys, if you missed it last night, Fix in the PM had another great episode. Go back and check them out. Greg Milakovic was on that show last night. He goes, do either of you two own lights or pay the electric bill? Well, since I'm a Jew and there's plenty of light emanating off of this computer, I don't need to turn another one on.
And actually, I have a lamp literally just not even a foot away from me. It's just right off screen. It would be
here's the other thing, right?
Let me just show a demonstration of how dark it would be if I didn't have it.
That's incredibly creepy.
Yeah, so I have no choice.
A show like that. Yeah. And again, right? You see what's not up here, Maddie, you're close, but this It bounces light. I am a reflective surface. Okay? So, no, I'm not turning a light on. Shut up. Not all of us can have our nice, cushy little home office with multiple screens and shit. Punk.
And by the way, I actually am lucky enough I don't really have to pay the electric bill. So I'm lucky on that front.
So Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks is up next. Huge matchup here. Women tear the house down. Great back and forth. It ultimately ends with Io Shirai winning with the moonsault, which is a beautiful moonsault.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Asuka shows up and sprays Sasha with the mist. Davey wants to know, wait, what the hell does being a Jew have to do with turning on the light? I don't want to spend money. That was the stereotype joke. Thanks for ruining it.
Well, at least we know some people are not completely uncultured. He was cultured enough not to know what that meant. So,
hey, I'm
good
cool
on
with it, right? It's great, but he did kind of ruin the joke. Still love you, though, Damien. Still love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Asuka with the green mist. 2 Chrome's point, right? It is kind of a schmaz finish. As I get resituated, it is kind of just a schmaz finish on there. What was a great night, what was a great match. Having Asuka come out, I know it keeps the narrative rolling for Asuka versus Banks at Extreme Rules in just a few weeks, but I don't know if it was needed. Okay.
No, it wasn't needed. But to be fair, when you're going to go and make a show supposed to be like the free pay-per-view that Cody was saying,
Yeah.
which is what WWE was doing the same thing with Great American Bash, I guess they felt like, well, might as well. We'll have a big title match to finish it off instead of having a big, crazy, 6-person or 6-man, 6-woman tag match or something like that. So it was a good match. So really, at the end of the day, it was perfectly fine to finish off the night.
Prism says you can't be that cheap. Your ass went to Whataburger and not McDonald's. No, hold on. Let's back up here. No. I'll explain this logic. I hate him so much.
So you ask him to give you a video of Butters hitting himself in the face with a keyboard, and he responds with that instead.
One day, just give me what I want, what I ask for. I'm so nice to him too. Like I am continuously nice to this man, and he cooks me.
He's just, he's seeing how long that fuse is.
No, he's gonna make me change my name to BD Ritz. That's what I feel like here. But no, let me explain. Let me explain, Mr. Pronger, his best friend, okay? Why it was cheaper for me to go to Whataburger versus McDonald's. McDonald's was out of my way. I would have spent more in gas going to McDonald's than I would have going to Whataburger, because Whataburger's on my way home. So, yeah.
Well, apparently, Brodo on the private chat saying Whataburger was mentioned, and that is the penalty. So,
but see, I keep telling him that I'm going to send him a Whataburger care package. He and I just haven't coordinated this yet. HEB sells a ton of Whataburger stuff out here.
He's saying it isn't the same.
You'll have to deal. Okay? Just have to. I'm doing the best I can.
But you know what? At the end of the day, maybe that's why he's doing all these things to you. That's where it all stems from. It was from the lack of coordination. Now we know what it was this whole time.
I guarantee you it's not that. I guarantee you he's just bored. Don't give him that credit. It's literally he's sitting there going, how can I screw with them now?
Oh, no. Let's preface that. Screw with you, particularly.
So, as I move on, Fighter Fest, this clusterfuck of a bullshit show. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yes. Careful, your WWE fanboy is showing.
Oh, is it? No, here's my problem, right? You announced well before WWE is doing a 2-night Great American Bash. You're going to do a 2-night Fighter Fest. We're not going to put it on. Yes, Prism. Brodo does have a great sense of humor. He's what makes half of this stuff fun. Let's be real. Oh, God, I thought that one was dead and buried.
Boy, you thought wrong.
Barely. Oh, shit. Is that what I think that was?
That was one of the many Brian ones. Yeah.
But let's be real here. You announce that you're going to do Fighter Fest. You're not going to put it on pay-per-view. You're going to do it on free TV, right? And then you give me this train wreck. You know, we look at Great American Bash, okay? Great American Bash went on at the same time, right? First match out the gate, 20 minutes, 37 seconds. Second match out the gate, 11 minutes, 32 seconds. The Rhea Ripley, Robert Stone, Aaliyah, 10 minutes, 3 seconds. Dexter Lumis, Roddy Strong, 16 flat. The main event, 14:01. Then you look over at Fighter Fest, right? 11:15, 11:28, 14:59, 11:23, 15:39. I don't know how I should pronounce that. I don't know where the word breaks are. But he says, found you on Periscope and came over here liking what I'm seeing. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. Damien, don't give him ideas. That one might be crossing the line. No joke. I might cross the line there. That might be my fuse tipping point.
We'll see the actual Andy explosion.
Yeah, that one might be rough. But and then you finish it off with Kenny Omega, Adam Page defending the titles against the Best Friends, right? They win, Kenny Omega and Page, and then it's going to happen next week again, except it's going to be Private Party, right? Like,
Yeah,
don't give me the same main event.
It's not very creative at all.
It's not like Jericho versus Orange Cassidy is going to kick off next week, apparently. You know, that's going to be good, right? But we know Jericho's time in the ring's coming up because he's doing more commentary. Le Champion is going to be Le Commentator.
That's true. That is true with Jericho. But, you know, when I look at the situation with AEW, I feel like they don't really plan anything. Like, don't get me wrong. They said they were going to – they announced this, but I don't think they had an actual show planned. I don't think they had anything planned out beforehand. I think they just – they're just throwing shit out there, and they're seeing what sticks.
I think they literally went into a writer's room, put a bunch of names in a hat, and started pulling – this is literally like when we were playing Raw versus SmackDown, and we were doing the GM mode, and we were having to build the shows and whatever. We're like 11. We're going, wouldn't it be fun if Super Crazy goes up against Undertaker? Yeah, that'd be great. Right? And Undertaker's going to win the Cruiserweight title. Shut up.
And then the worst part of it is, that would happen with me when I would auto do it, and Shawn Michaels would always win the Cruiserweight belt. It's like, I don't want Shawn to be Cruiserweight champion. I want him to be WWE champion. This is BS.
Look at next week's show. Jericho versus Cassidy. Lance Archer versus Joey Janela. Nyla Rose versus someone we haven't announced yet. And then it just escalates from there. You have Colt Cabana and the Dark Order versus SoCal Uncensored in a 6-man tag team match. Following that, it gets better. It gets better. This is Teddy Long SmackDown. FTR and the Young Bucks are going to go against the Butcher and the Blade and Lucha Brothers in an 8-man tag team match. And then main eventing once again, Kenny Omega and Adam Page are going to go up against the Private Party for the AEW World Tag Team titles.
I'm not going to lie. At this point now, with Page and Omega as tag champs, I'm like, why are they still fucking tag champs? It's like there are two singles performers that you threw together because they were part of the Elite, and you made them tag champs, knowing that you had the Young Bucks right there. Now, maybe the Young Bucks just didn't want to come off as, we're the Booker, so we want to crown ourselves champs. Fine, but you had a plethora of tag teams that you have, and none of them have held the belts. All I could say is that, okay, they beat Best Friends. I'm really hoping Private Party beats them at this point. That would be the best way to end this. Like, seriously, have Private Party finally win have them win the belts. Because at least it's like, all right, fine. I know you did the same main event 2 weeks in a row, and that's very lazy booking. Literally, it is. Like, but at least have Private Party win the damn things. You know, like, I mean, I know Pronger's best friend doesn't know who they are, but you should check them out.
I don't know who they are.
They're not
staring at this.
They're not a bad team, though. I mean, they really aren't. But the problem is that
no, this isn't much deep seated. Let's talk about it. Where I feel like Rick and Morty. Where's my whiteboard? This has been a long time coming. This is the problem I have with AEW. Like you said it earlier, my WWE fanboy showing. That's not the case, right? AEW had an opportunity to take these stars and elevate them and take them to a different level and create true stories that make me want to turn it on every week. That make me, for someone that doesn't have cable, go out of my way to find their show and sit down and watch it and be engrossed and be sitting here and just popping left and right for the awesomeness that is a different product, something new with fresh faces that haven't been shoved down my throat. But no, we're going to be WCW light.
And what doesn't help anything, too, is that Cody was trying to get names that his dad came up with, like the Great American Bash, to utilize them. And same thing with Bash at the Beach. I'm like, it's like, okay.
See,
But here's the thing, and this is the truth. Like, AEW not only had, you're right, where they didn't establish stars that hadn't been established. Perfect example is Private Party. You don't know who they are, but they're a good team. And the shame of it is that they don't get highlighted enough. Lucha Brothers, I don't know why the fuck they've never actually had an opportunity at the tag belts. It's fucking, that's just a failure. It's just a lot of things that they should have done, they didn't do. In exchange for storylines that don't make any sense, they go nowhere, they don't add up to anything. And it's like, why? This doesn't make any sense. That's exactly what happened with WCW. They had shit that made no sense and it didn't go anywhere because they had a constant rotation of bookers that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And then when they finally figured out what to do, they did one good thing right, things trailed along with it, and then they killed it after 2 years of being the top dog.
Exactly. I mean, so the Cody trying to get names that his dad came up with, I struggle calling that in the question, right? It's him wanting to bring some of his father's legacy into his company. I'm cool with it.
I get it, but I feel like, yeah, I understand.
I love the casino theme that they go with.
I would prefer that there would be like, okay, AEW is your own thing. It's your baby. Make it your own. You don't have to use your dad's ideas. You have your own. Do them. Have, like Cody, for the most part, in terms of him booking the main event really hasn't been that bad. The only thing that I've ever questioned was what Jericho dropping the belt to Moxley, because I felt like Jericho should have dropped the belt to somebody that needed the boost. Moxley doesn't need it. So that was the only time I ever really questioned any of the booking decisions he made. Whereas there's a lot of questions I have on Kenny, and there's some questions I have on the Bucks. And it's like,
I've got questions for all of them because as awesome as Moxley is, he shouldn't have come into the company right into the title picture and win the belt. You have other people that should have won. Like, all right, so Darby Allin, what's he been doing? Diddly squat.
Doing nothing. He's doing a throwaway rivalry. That's what he was doing.
Exactly. MJF, what's he doing? He's not even on the card. Are we kidding here?
Well, he was on it, but he was in the tag match, So it's a waste. He might as well have not been. It's a waste of his time. You know, like it's like, yeah, I know he's got Wardlow as his bodyguard. It's like, but he doesn't need to be his tag team partner. Like, it's like, I don't understand this. The Jurassic Express is a tag team. They're okay. That or Oh Boy and His Dinosaur, which is really what it should be called. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus should just be in the tag area. MJF should be doing the single stuff. Wardlow should be his manager. Wardlow can have his own matches, but they are not anything to do with them being a tag team. I don't want to see them in the tag division. I want to see MJF go for the world title because that's where he should be. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Or at least be like, now that Cody's champion, go back after Cody again. Right?
Yeah.
You should be in a title picture. I love Cody, and I like the fact that he's the TNT champion, not the heavyweight champion, right? But, like, what the hell are we doing? We're going to put Cody up against Jake Hager? Think about this for a minute. Everybody that's a champion right now in AEW, Jon Moxley, Cody Rhodes, Omega, and Page. And you would have to enlighten me on this, but Shida all made their names somewhere else.
Yes. Shida made her name in Japan, which is no surprise. That's all Kenny does is promote Japanese wrestlers, which I love Japanese wrestling, but there's also good American talent. And then secondly, Page made a name for himself being a member of the Bullet Club, along with Kenny Omega, in Japan and in the American independents. Cody, WWE, and the Bullet Club. And then, of course, you have Moxley, who WWE with the Shield, and beforehand, death matching in CZW. So,
like, I'm okay if they made their name in an independent scene, right? But they're making their name. They made their names in other big promotions. You know, who are we going to take? Who do you take from AEW and put him on a pedestal? And it should have been Darby Allin. Pronger says, MJF was good in MLW that I seen. I didn't like his match with Cody where he won with a ring punch. If it was brass knucks, I get it. And the ring made a little bit of sense to me. All right, guys. I hate to cut it short, but Mr. Matty Sudi, you do have coming up in just a little bit the premier, do you hear me? The premier hockey show here at A2D Radio, the Hockey Happy Hour, where Matt Sudi is joined by Brian Daly and Robert Povia. They're going to break down everything hockey related. If I'm right, you guys tonight, you're talking about phase 2?
No, that was last week. This week we are talking about the draft lottery.
Oh, yeah, that's train wreck of a clusterfuck.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that bad boy. So we'll do a mock, and we'll also dive into the first pick and all the craziness there.
Awesome. Right. So wait, hold on. Something played at the end of it, but on my screen it said your mic is muted while the video plays, so I couldn't see what was on screen. I need someone in the chat to tell me what was on screen. Like it was positioned right in the middle where it said your mic is muted.
I'm really waiting for that to end, and there's just somebody that we never ever thought we would have on a show, just all of a sudden right the hell there for no reason.
Watch, it's like Tom, and he's been this like secret wrestling fan and has been researching and everything like that.
Ever since Lazy Booking got on ATV and then in this very ring added to it.
He's sitting at home just
He stays up at night instead of sleeping. He's just constantly watching all the WrestleManias.
You never know about.
Like on the real low, he's a wrestling fan, like a big wrestling fan.
Something is coming is what it said. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brodo. Thank you. But no, guys, you need to be watching Hockey Happy Hour tonight. Tomorrow, On the Road to Victory comes at you live with Jimmy and the Gang. That could be a new shirt, Jimmy and the Gang. Sounds like an 70s like doo-wop band. Oh, I can see that.
It sounds like a doo-wop band, but it also could be not a bad idea for a show name. So
Yeah, Jimmy and the Gang. I might have to talk to Jimmy about that. No shows on Saturday for Independence Day. I don't think I think the soccer guys are going on. Mr. Brodo, if you can confirm that. I think kicking it stateside.
I don't know.
go
All right,
to the
so-
well, and we got nothing.
Kicking it stateside might be live in the morning. Other than that, I know Weekly Roundup and In This Very Ring, obviously, are not going to go live. Agree to Disagree will be on Sunday. Sport Towns on Monday. Birds of a Feather on Tuesday. The Fix in the PM, the Fix AM in the PM, whatever happens on Wednesday, something's coming at you on Wednesday. And then right back here next week for another episode of Niche Night here at A2D Radio. Screw NBC's Must Watch Thursday. It's Niche Night right here, the best damn sports media company on the planet. A2D Radio with Lazy Booking and Hockey Happy Hour. Guys, remember Bill Alfonso Part 3 finished up at the start of this show with Chrome. Go back and listen to that. We thank Chrome, Bill Alfonso, Ryan in the back for sitting through this crazy shit, Matty Sinsuti, myself. Guys, have a happy and safe 4th of July, because at the end of the day, we are all real Americans. Good night, everybody.